Francesa on the Fan. Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM. WFAN.
From the studios of WFAN, this is Mike Zahn, Francesa on the Fan on a Thursday, the 19th day of October, and we're still talking baseball in this town, and the town is alive. It is now a real October ride as we get ready to take the scene back to Houston for a Game 6. And the one thing that you can see that has to happen is the city has to calm down a little because everyone's already making World Series plans. And remember, these series, there's still a game to win, and no one's broken through on a home field yet. So just temper the enthusiasm a little as you get ready for game number 6. But it was another tremendous day of what has become just an ongoing theme at Yankee Stadium, where the Yankees have become dominant this year in this postseason. And have come back from 2-0 for the second straight series, which is extremely unlikely. And I'm telling you, I watched Houston's faces yesterday. I was sitting very close to their dugout, and I could see how with each at bat, they were just getting more and more just upset. And it finally started. I saw them banging bats and banging helmets. And for the first time you saw them, they just, they're wondering what is going on. I think they came to New York, obviously 2-up, as a very confident team. I think they thought this was going to be not easy, but something they could handle. And now they go back wondering about what has happened to them, just the way the Indians have. Now they go back, obviously, with a guy they have a great deal of faith in, just like they did for Keuchel. Keuchel yesterday, I didn't think either guy was sharp early, but without question, Tanaka got sharper as the game went on. Once he got a lead, he got better. And yesterday, the Yankees had some very good at-bats. And again, the Astros have had so much trouble at the plate in this series for a team that, if you look at their regular season statistics, they're unbelievable. They have had 21 hits in 5 games. That's a little more than 4 hits a game. That's what you got used to Altuve having, was 4 hits a game. They've had 4 hits a game. And their 1-2 guys have done nothing. I mean, you got 5 guys in that lineup under 100. You got guys who haven't had a hit. If you take Altuve, Correa, and Gurriel out of that lineup, they don't have anything. They've done absolutely nothing. And give the Yankee scouts credit for what they've done with their pitching game plan, and give the Yankee starting pitching an incredible amount of success for what they've done. And that's really been the difference. The Yankee starting pitching in the series has been off the charts. Look how many runs the Astros have scored in 5 games, and look how many hits they've had. They've done nothing. The 2 games they win 2-1. So the Yankees have run roughshod over them 3 straight games. Now they go back to Houston. And in Houston, I am sure they are in complete panic right now about what is going on in this series. But now it shifts. No one has broken through. And your better chance to do this is in Game 6. Normally, when you go back and you win the middle 3 games, historically, you go back and win 6. If you don't, Game 7 gets very tough. There are many series where after 6 games, if there's been no breakthrough, you don't get the breakthrough on the road in Game 7. This Yankee team, the way they're built and the way their offense goes and the depth of their bullpen and just who they are this year, you've seen them do it. You've seen them come from behind in the wild card game against Minnesota. You've seen them do it in Cleveland. And I would believe they could do it in Houston, even if they lost Game 6. And I wouldn't normally say that because I think that would normally be a very hard breakthrough game. But I think this team's capable of doing it. And they have been, for the second straight series, they have been the better team. And early on, you didn't expect that because the Astros did everything right in the first 2 games. Yeah, they didn't score, but they made every play. They got brilliant starting pitching. They made every relay throw. They didn't make any mistakes on the base. They did everything, and the Yankees made just enough mistakes to lose. But since they've come back, their hitting has gone to absolutely zero, and the Yankees have made the plays. And they haven't made every play. They've had some mistakes. They've had some errors. They've had some gaffes on the base paths. But they have hit, and especially, and I know the fans, and I've heard it, and we've argued about it, and I've screamed about it. I got so tired of hearing guys talk about Judge and getting him out of the 2-hole, or Sanchez and can he hit, and just be patient with these guys. It's about them, and that's why Girardi was never going to blink in his belief about them, because he's seen them do it all year, and you just had to wait. And now you see what you're getting from them in this series, what you've gotten from Judge the last couple of days, what you got from Sanchez the last couple of days, what you've consistently got from Didi and from Bird, who had a very big RBI, that first RBI. And I'll tell you something, it was an interesting sequence because it was amazing. After the Castro hit with Bird up, Keuchel didn't get a call, and he, before the next pitch, was reaming the umpire, and that inning gave up the base hit that Bird got the hit into the right field corner. He went after the umpire so hard after that inning on his way back to the dugout. For 30 seconds, he stopped and lit into I could hear him. He lit into the umpire. He wanted that 0-1 pitch that he didn't get so badly, changed that, hold it bat. It was a 1-0 pitch that he didn't get. It made it 2-0 on Bird, and Bird hit the next pitch, if I remember right. But he didn't get the pitch, the second pitch to Bird, and he went crazy. He snapped his glove, and then he still went after him the whole inning, and he was going after the umpire in between innings every inning in that game, and they were off their game. I watched them yesterday, and to me, they had lost their cool. I think the stadium got to them a little bit, but more than anything else, their frustration started to build to where you're watching Springer come back to the dugout just shaking his head. You're watching, Reddick banging his bats and banging his helmets. And listen, they are going to be pressing like crazy early in that game tomorrow, because they came back here up 2-0 and they thought they were on their way to a World Series. They looked yesterday like a team that was stunned that they're in the position they're in. Well, the Yankees have obviously just gotten stronger and stronger, and, just everything is just going as well as it could possibly go right now as they get ready for a Game 6. They're producing, they're having fun, they all got smiles on their face, they all have a bounce in their step, and that's what happens. And now they have to go see if they can close this out. Tonight you'll see if the Dodgers can close out their series. Big game tonight for Kershaw, really is. And we'll see. You know why? Because if he extends that series, it just is not a good sign for him. So we'll be interested to see what happens there. But that's not on the top of your list. What's on the top of your list, obviously, is the fact that the Yankees are now one game away from a very improbable World Series, which is the best kind. And the bandwagon is like so overflowed now. You can't. It's like the wheels have no air left in them because so many people have jumped on that. But that happens, and it especially happens when you get a magic carpet ride. And this has started to feel now like one of those magic carpet rides where it just comes unexpected. And remember, when the Yankees came back after the what you want to call the Girardi game, nobody thought. And I'm telling you, I heard the fans that night, and they all wanted Girardi fired, and they all thought the season was over, and likely and rightly so. They're playing a Cleveland team that was 32-4. You're down 2, Love. You thought you just let a game get away, and from that moment, this ride has begun. With Tanaka winning against Carrasco in Game 3, 1-0. Judge brings the ball back. They win the game 1-0. From that moment, this team, even though they lost a couple of games in Houston, has been on a ride and been on a roll. And it has not stopped, and it has started to gain momentum. And those are the special Octobers that you get. And now you're right flush in the middle of one. And me personally, I love the idea of a Yankee. I mean, I'm not saying it's over in that series. I'm not trying to say that the Yankees have won this thing, because they haven't. But what I'm saying is the thoughts of a Dodger-Yankee World Series would be a lot of fun. It really would. And, the Dodgers have, and I understand now that the fans who grew up Dodger fans, most of them are no longer even with us. You have to be pretty old to have been in that place. The Dodgers have been in California a long time now, but they still have a history that dates back here, and they still have an outrageous rivalry with the Yankees, and they always have. A good part of their history, and they have a great history, is steeped and connected to the Yankee history, which is obviously an incomparable history. So these are two very special teams. You know, there are only a couple of teams that have that kind of history. You know, the Cardinals do. The Giants, the same thing the Giants do. Because they date back to an earlier time. They date back to the city. So there is a great history there. But the Dodgers have that history, and obviously the Yankees. And the history has been coupled many times, and there's many, connecting and times where their paths have crossed. So that would be really a wonderful series if it happens. And both teams right now are one game away from that happening, which is something that we can look forward to, but still work to be done. So I know a lot of stuff you want to get to as you think about Verlander tomorrow. Tomorrow night, a game number 5. We'll even sneak in a little. Well, I know we haven't done any football, and we'll get to some. The NBA season begins tonight. We haven't done anything on that. We just haven't had time. Maybe we'll get to it for a minute, but even the next 2 days, it's still going to be wall-to-wall baseball as you would expect, and hopefully for the next 10 days, because hopefully on Tuesday we'll be getting ready to start a World Series. But first things first, we'll get this thing rolling right after this.